Andy Samberg brings some of his old friends and his Nick Cage impression to Comedy Central's adult animated series, Digman. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the Comedy Central series Digman, or Digman. I think it's Digman though, because that's his name in the series. And it is an adult animated series that aired on Comedy Central earlier this year. The first season is finished. No word whether or not this is renewed for season 2, but you can check out the 8-episode season on Comedy Central's app. If you do not have a cable subscription, you can still check out the first 3 episodes absolutely free on the Comedy Central app. And if you do have a cable subscription, you can just put in your information and then you can unlock the other episodes there if you want to continue watching. But before we launch into the specifics of this show, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thanks for finding this video. We've got a ton of great movie and TV reviews for you to check out, and I try to post something new just about every day, so always something new here on the channel to look at. Please consider subscribing down below in that way. Would love to have you aboard with the channel. All right, so let's talk about Digman. This is sort of set in the vein of an old, like, 80s or 90s Saturday morning cartoon, at least in its animation style, sort of the presentation. However, you know, make no mistake, it is definitely an adult series, a lot of cursing, which I guess, I don't know if they let that fly on Comedy Central now, or, you know, if it's bleeped on the Comedy Central version, but we see it uncensored on the app. I don't know, but they were letting the F words and the other things fly very fast and furiously here on the version on the app anyway. So, but Andy Samberg plays Rip Digman, who is an archaeologist who returns to the world after a long hiatus and being a bit disgraced as well. His wife Bella passes away, like in a sort of flashback in the first opening scene of the first episode, and then as a result, you know, a lot of people feel like he, you know, may have killed her, kind of, you know, by his inactions or whatever. So he's a bit disgraced, looking to get his name back. Some other people you may recognize: Tim Robinson from I Think You Should Leave, and many other things. Melissa Fumero, Samberg's old Brooklyn Nine-Nine buddy. Tim Meadows from SNL. And this was co-created with his buddy Neil Campbell from The Lonely Island. So this is a universe where archaeologists are like the A-list celebrities. So it's sort of like a skewed world here, where, you know, they are the A-listers that they talk about on the news, and celebrity gossip and all of that. So everyone knows who this guy is. And I'm seeing here it is actually announced there will be a second season. So, you know, if you like these first 8 episodes, we can look forward to more of Digman, hopefully, in the future. Now, how did I feel about it? Well, I have some mixed feelings on the show. So Samberg is doing his Nick Cage impression, and I think it's certainly on purpose, but I think it actually works really well here because it has kind of a National Treasure type vibe to it. So clearly, you know, that is what the creators, you know, Samberg and his buddy and the producers were sort of thinking about while they were making this. There are a lot of, if not completely direct, quasi-indirect references to things like National Treasure, Indiana Jones, and the like. And some of them are very, you know, like I said, direct references as well. That might hinder, you know, the concept a little bit, being that on the nose with it. But some of it was actually presented, you know, in fairly funny ways, the references. So I can give it a pass for some of it. I am never really a fan of an adult animated series just being naughty or gross out or curse-laden, just for the sake of doing so. You know, it's something I preach a lot here on the channel. Over the years, I've reviewed a lot of adult animated shows, and some of them work for me, and the ones that sort of go directly right to that potty line of humor, you need more to it than that. And the same can be said for, you know, an R-rated movie or something. It doesn't have to be a cartoon necessarily, but we need a little more than that. And I do think this show gives us a bit more than that. I would say the hit rate of the jokes is probably in the 65-35 kind of range. 65%, I can appreciate or laugh about. The other 35, I think, kind of fall flat. So it's definitely a little bit middling in that regard. But I have to say, this character and the cast of characters here, including Mitra Juhari as Saltine. She is Rip's student and current assistant in his archaeological explorations. She and he have really good chemistry together. I don't know the actress that's doing the voice work here, but she adds a nice layer to the plot. And I mean, look, it's a light sort of plot thing. We don't dive too far in to these people's lives. And look, there's only 8 half-hour episodes, so it makes sense. If they had, maybe this show would rank a little bit higher for me. But I do think it's enjoyable. I certainly laughed a lot. I like Andy Samberg. When he left SNL, I was not quite sure, what to think, where we were going to go with his career. And then between Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is, I think, one of the greatest shows of the last decade, and then Popstar Never what was it? Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping, is one of the greatest comedy films of the last decade as well. Hilarious mockumentary about the pop star lifestyle. I've seen it a couple of times. So Samberg for me is, one of the kind of low key, great comedians of the last 10 years. He doesn't really get talked about in a lot of those circles, but maybe because he didn't leave a huge mark with SNL, it was more in the aftermath. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a great show if you haven't checked that out, and same with Popstar, the movie. And he brings that sort of intensity, that humor, his style to this show. You can tell it's a Samberg production through and through. Now, that being said, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was on network television. They did not have a lot of the we can, cursing for cursing's sake kind of thing. That stuff always kind of leaves me cold. You need a little more than that, even be a little clever with it. And you can curse all you want, but just throwing it in there because, it's an animated show, that stuff is such old news for me. So definitely a middling mark for me with Digman. But I do leave it with a slight positive grade. Check out the 8 episodes now on the Comedy Central app. Possibly you can see them on the channel, with reruns and everything. But even if you don't have a cable subscription, you can see the first 3 episodes of this on the Comedy Central app. I leave Digman with a B-. Hopefully they sort of correct some of these errors and maybe even makes season 2 a little more character specific too, maybe more character driven. But I like where it's going, so I leave it with that. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.